My name is Hilda Moraa. I'm the CEO and founder of Pezesha. Pezesha means financial enabler. That ultimately summarizes what we do at Pezesha. So basically, we've built an SME financing platform that allows us to work with partners in a very seamless way. And they come in with the SMEs and the distribution, and we provide these SMEs with working capital. And so the way we do it is we basically integrate with these partners and allow their customers who are SMEs to be able to access credit for working capital or inventory and basically grow their business. Pesa means money, Zesha means enable.
Okay.
So if you put them together, it means financial enabler. So we are an enabler. We enable SMEs with working capital, and we work with partners to achieve that. My entrepreneurship journey, now 15 years in, has been one that has not just been a roller coaster, but of course very fulfilling, because I started my journey way back when I was in school in Strathmore. And then of course coming out and working for global companies like Coca Cola, being part of the iHub is really where the spark of my entrepreneurship journey began. Looking at the problems small and medium businesses are facing while I was working in Coke, and seeing, the challenges at the last mile in access to credit to be able to grow their business and access markets. And for me, I knew, this is the right time to solve for this problem. Banks were not doing it. They are not providing credit to these businesses because they don't have collateral. They don't have the data. There's a lot of fragmentation that's happening in their world. And with that first-hand experience working with a global company like Coke, I realized, there's quite a lot of things that need to be streamlined. It's a process. It's building the infrastructure first and helping those businesses to understand why it's important for them to build their credit history even before they get the credit. So that journey began way back when I started my first company, WezaTele, together with Sam and Newton, where basically we built a platform that allowed small retailers to be empowered with the right tools that build their credit history. And what it is now to a credit lending infrastructure that is AI-driven, that allows these businesses to not only just access tools, but they can access credit, they can access a credit score for the first time ever, but more so build their businesses to the next level through an ecosystem. I will say mine is a calling that started way early on, and I think this is the purpose of understanding why you were brought here on earth to do your purpose. And mine started way early on, just solving problems around me in the university. My first business was a printing business. So I was not cut out necessarily to build software, which I ended up as a journey I pursued in my academic life. And now using the tech and the innovation that I acquired to now build solutions, real solutions by solving real problems. So the printing business was my first business. It failed miserably because the university decided to compete with me and now bring printing services across the university, almost like do-it-yourself. And my small printing business in the hostel, which was the only printer at the time where students used to come and print, was not scaling. And someone saw the opportunity, and it was really a massive learning, because for me, that was the beginning of understanding. I was really the person who was taking the first step of faith to build solutions, solve for the problems around me, and actually create opportunities for other people. Because I created opportunities for students, I created jobs for other students as well. And now look where we are. What that small printing business has transformed to be a business that we are now solving bigger problems in SME. We have empowered more than 500,000 SMEs across Kenya and in Uganda, a team of 55 people, still building, so it never stops. Wow, I like to say the Pezesha journey has been interesting because it's been a journey of pivoting. And the reason I say it's been a journey of pivoting is because while we are building this infrastructure for SMEs, it's very challenging because you are trying to access the right data. You're trying to help the smaller businesses to be included. You're starting from scratch, everything. Building the partnerships to be where we are now, partnering with banks and telcos and bigger players. it's been a lot of work and testing and iterating and changing the infrastructure almost every time that we need to scale up. And so for me, I will say the biggest eureka moment was at the back of COVID. And it was during that time that we saw a lot of businesses, especially value chains, start to collapse. But it was also the first time we started to see value chains come together and consolidate because of what's happening in the market. Partners needed to keep their customers. The value chains needed to survive so that they can continue to service, whether it was logistics, whether it was e-commerce, FMCG, name it. Everyone wanted to keep their value chains alive. And that means from the distributor to the retailer, up to the end consumer. You needed to access the goods even during that tough times, because everything was locked. So what happened during that time was a lot of these partners reached out to Pezesha and said, you have the infrastructure of bringing everyone together. Why don't we use this infrastructure to keep these businesses alive? Because we knew if they don't survive during COVID, they will die forever. And so we made it our fiduciary duty as Pezesha to bring everyone together into the ecosystem. And that was the biggest pivot ever to now what has made our business to be what it is today, because our rails are now being used by banks, they're being used by telcos, they're being used by e-commerce companies, they're being used by big anchor partners. And it's because of that, what I call Pivot 2.0. For me, I believe first bringing the right people as entrepreneurs is not an easy job. Just putting them in the same room, because it starts with peer mentoring and peer learning from each other. Pezesha has grown and scaled, but there's other companies that have also been in different spaces that they have figured certain things. We're still learning every other day. So the fact that you brought everyone who's the right entrepreneur into this program is really a massive win, if nothing else. And then, of course, the networking opportunities to share knowledge, opportunities to learn and network with investors, industry players, has really impacted our business, because now we can see we have a new thinking in the way we do things, in the way we collaborate, in the way we come to the table and say, this is not only just what we are bringing, but also this is how we want to create this impact to the next level. So in the next couple of months, we see a lot of synergies crystallizing because of this network effect that we have gotten from the program, to then say, how do we take our business forward, especially during these tough times? We need each other, and that ecosystem is built by being part of programs like this. I will say, for the ones I've talked to, the experience is it was overwhelming. They're like, where do you start? Who do you talk to? But I think for us, we still believe that network is still available to tap into it when we are ready, because it's also important about the timing of some of these conversations. So we want to still come in, but for most of my peers who are there, they formed very meaningful relationships that now they've come back home and said, how do we make these relationships move to the next level? So that's always the key common takeaway from the London trip. And even without that interaction on the ground, I still think there's a lot of those conversations that are still ongoing, even for us as Pezesha, with some of the investors that we got to touch base from the list that was provided. And we're still seeing when is the right time to open those conversations. The future is promising because we've done the hard work. We've done the hard work of building the infrastructure. And so now we are layering on top many things, including now we've opened our platform for AI, and we're embedding tools and services that allow these businesses to grow to the next level. And so when we look at the future of Pezesha, is really now opening up our infrastructure for other people to use it. It's a $330 billion financing gap opportunity across sub-Saharan Africa. We can't do it by ourselves. Even if we want to tackle this problem of SME working capital, it is going to take us years and years, and Africa is not going to wait for us. So the way we want to reach that gap quickly, as they say, together you can go very far. Yeah, so we want to take that premise and philosophy in the way we do business and to say, let's open up our infrastructure, which is Patasco. And Patasco is now what the market is interacting with, to say, let's leverage all the assets that Pezesha has built to provide credit scoring for SMEs who have never received before, to provide them an opportunity to access credit in a productive way because we know where it's going, we know what it is used for. So our platform allows you to have that visibility. 3, to allow you to collect, because the business is not just about disbursing, it's also about receiving the capital to circulate, to create a network effect. So the ecosystem we've built allows capital to flow in the entire value chain. And then at the end of it all, that network effect that we have dreamt about is going to become real because everyone is doing what they need to. The platform is working. The customers are getting what they need the most to grow. What else can we dream about? And of course, AI is driving us there faster because now we're starting to see what our credit scoring models were not able to predict. They've now been harnessed because of the power of AI, which we are now leveraging to scale up. And we believe that's where the future is going to be.
And it's working.
It's working. It's still early days. It's still early days, but it's really, as I said earlier, it's just a pivoting journey to continue to learn to iterate these models because a human being will not be able to look at that in totality and say it's perfect. But now when we bring these other tools and technologies, they also help us to actually see where we might not be able to see with our human eye. I will say resilience. This journey has been about building resilience for Africa. And I think Pezesha has shown it is possible to do the hard thing. And in a market like this, still being able to provide so much value and open it up for other people to benefit. We are the SI unit for resilience because we have done the hard work and Africa needs more resilient companies, more resilient solutions, and more resilient products that will actually create the future we want to see.
Thank you.
Awesome.